All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is to preview the Arsenal versus Man United game. This feels like a big game. All of a sudden, it feels like a big game. So I had to get my two brothers on with me. One of them, unfortunately, supports United, but this can't be helped. But I know you guys love him. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the people, Stel.
Hello, ladies and gents. Thank you for the invitation. Thanks for the very, very kind introduction.
Of course. My fellow North Londoner, even though you support the scum.
Well, we all know that everyone in Manchester supports the blue side, mate. So,
that's ruined the surprise.
That's because they haven't got any fans outside of Manchester.
If that's the case, then why aren't they going to games? I see, just unless they're turning up as blue seats, like fancy dress.
All I'm going to say to you is this:
the club that does 2-for-1 offers on tickets, yeah, massive.
The last time I went to Old Trafford, there was a big traffic jam, and it weren't all Arsenal fans. Let me tell you that for free.
Listen, you don't need to behave yourselves because I saw you guys have got a Helsinki supporters club.
See, it started already. Anyway, I
don't
finished the intros yet.
Think you didn't get a Rami Shaban fan club from Egypt.
I ain't finished the intros yet. Of course, my brother from another mother, Lee. Hello, brother.
Good evening. I hope everyone's well. And this should be entertaining. This should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
This should be fun.
And before you start, if anyone's wondering why I've got this little bobble hat on there, right? I did my preview, which, by the way, no, it's not my preview. Why am I lying? My preview's coming tomorrow. I did a video, which I'll be dropping at 9 o'clock. That's already scheduled, right? So I come home from work, gelled my hair, done the video, thought, right, I'm going to sit and bust out FIFA for the night, yeah? So I've gone out for a cigarette, put my woolly hat on, and then Chris texts me, do you fancy jumping on? I was like, yeah, I'm not gelling my hair again.
and he loves that hat. When I say he loves that hat,
I've got a couple of them, man. It's not the same one. Why are you trying to make out of a tramp?
Bro, don't even try it. That's the same one I saw. I'm pretty sure. That's the
listen, I'm going to prove a point to you now, yeah?
That's the detachable one. That's the detachable one.
No. Look, I've got a black one. I've got this one. And then I've got the detachable one. This one's not detachable, look.
Ah, okay. I'll give you credit. It's different.
I don't wear the same hat every day, man. Come on.
Right. I thought
Jamiroquai was dead, mate.
Listen, don't even start that shit, man. I get told I look like the fucking Swansea manager. I get told I look like an England cricketer. I get told I look like fucking the white Aubameyang. I get told I look like fucking Chris Martin from Coldplay. Fucking literally, man. It's like, come on, seriously.
Space Cowboy.
Right, I'm out of here. Laters.
Right. So let's talk about Arsenal United. All of a sudden, it feels like a big game. Lee, I know we were talking offline just before Stel came on. What you're a bit nervous about this game, right?
I wouldn't say nervous, but put it this way, I'm a bit.
He's playing it down now. So let me.
I'm a bit more concerned about them than I was Chelsea the other day.
The other way around. I don't know why.
And I'm also a bit more concerned about now than when we played them at Old Trafford.
Oh, I remember.
Because we should have won that game at Old Trafford, and we were doing well at that point. We're on an unbeaten run at the time. We had a little blip. Every team has a blip. And obviously, Man United have potted Jose since. And, you know, whether you think Solskjaer's done anything different is a different debate. But the fact that they've won, I think it's 7 out of 7. You know,
7 wins on the bounce, yeah.
7 in a row. Rashford's on fire. His goal the other day was unreal. And they have genuinely got goal threats, whereas when we played Chelsea the other day, they didn't. If you stopped Eden Hazard, you basically win the game if you score a goal because they ain't got nothing else. Whereas, you know, Man United have got Martial. We can all laugh at Lukaku, but we know he can score goals. And obviously Rashford. So yeah, it's going and Pogba as well. You know, Pogba's played out of his skin, which makes me think he's a complete cunt because Well, it does. Let's be real.
I'm sure Stel will agree.
He down tools for months and months and months. Right? The manager gets potted, and all of a sudden he wants to play again. He should donate all of their month's wages to charity. Yeah, it's a joke, seriously. And
he is. He's donated to Jesse Lingard's YouTube channel.
Oh, fucking mate! Don't even get me started on that little cunt. I can't stand him, mate. That geezer is an embarrassment. Seriously, I'm glad he's your problem and not our problem. That's all I'm going to say, right?
Well, but I think you've got a bigger problem in Ozil, mate.
Don't even start me off on him.
That's why I mentioned him.
Don't even start me off. Yeah, but at least he ain't going around singing in his car to fucking some tune from White Chicks. Do you know what I mean?
See, people. Lee giving Ozil a compliment. That is rare. Right there. That is rare.
True. But Ozil's playing the race card, so what's the difference?
You ain't sucking me in. Yeah, I'll have death threats and all sorts still, yeah?
Worry, I'll get you
but no, I do see, obviously the game at Old Trafford was a draw. And that was just two piss poor bits of defending from us. And, you know, they took their chances. To this time round, we've got a better defence, that's for sure. Obviously, Bellerin's going to be a massive loss. But we've got centre-backs this time, whereas before it was... bit makeshift all over the back line. So, you know, I think we will go with a strong team, but I think Man United will go with their strong team as well, because let's be real, Solskjaer gets what Man United means to the fans. Yeah, and deep down, I think he's a Man United fan. That's how I see it. The way everything he says, he speaks basically like a fan of the club. So I can't see that he's going to totally disregard this competition by fucking around with the team. So. And also, we know Emery likes the cup competition, so I can't see him pissing about with the team. I think there will be a few changes. I don't think Leno will start. I think he'll put Cech in goal. But other than that, whether the superstar walks back in or not, I don't know. But we shall see. We shall see on Friday. But I think it'll be a good game. Last season in the league, we know that Man United... we gifted them a couple of goals, and then we battered them for 80 minutes, and then they broke away and scored a third. So let's hope it don't turn out like that. Obviously, that was a league game, but I see it being quite high scoring, if I'm being honest. I can't see either of us keeping clean sheets. And I think it's just a case of who wants it more at the end of the day. I think both teams are fairly level in quality. It's just who wants it. And obviously, if we're going to start a similar team to what played Chelsea, obviously that was a big game. Regardless of how poor Chelsea are right now, it's still going to have taken a lot out of the lads. They put a lot into that. Whereas Man United's game against Brighton was basically a walk in the park. So that might have an effect on the game.
Okay. And Stel, the last time you were on here with me and Ola, you were as down could be in terms of your demeanor, any hopes. And now all of a sudden, this motherfucker's actually tweeting. You're actually tweeting. Still giving up tweeting for a bit. Trust me. My man was just like, standard, as expected.
No, actually, no. I was tweeting, but the difference is I was tweeting things that a lot of United fans didn't like. This is the difference.
Welcome to my world, mate. You're basically Man United's version of Lee Gunner.
Yeah, but exactly. That's what people were saying last time. But the difference is I'm not afraid to speak the truth. I'm not your Goldbridge. I'm not these other Man United YouTubers that sit there and lick asses and say, oh, well, Pogba is the best thing since sliced bread. I tell it like it is. I tell it like it is because I've heard things and I know people inside the club that tell me things. Obviously, I don't mention their names for many reasons, but I say things as it is. And people pull me up saying, well, how do you know? And you got no proof. And I don't need to show you guys any proof because I hear it from people that I know. And if I do provide the proof, then effectively I'm shooting my source. Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. But yeah, listen, when I came on your show, I was vaping. I'm all right now. See? Steady hand as well. No, it's on charge, to be fair. But no, listen, when you guys came to our place, you were on an incredible unbeaten streak. I think you were 20, 21 games unbeaten at the time. We were down in the dumps. We didn't have a clue what was going on. And 4 FIFA glitch goals later, and you know, we kind of got a bit of a kick up the backside. But then we lost to Liverpool, and effectively that was it for Jose. And the Solskjaer appointment came right out of the blue, to be fair. That was the one thing I didn't expect to happen. I thought
nobody called that. Nobody.
I thought we were going to go balls deep for Conte, to be honest, because he kind of fit the bill in the sense that, You know, he knew how to get the best out of Pogba because he had him at Juventus. He had Darmian there. You know, he was a free agent.
Won a title as well in England.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't one of these people that, oh, get Conte in or get Jose out. You know, you've never heard me once say, I want him gone. I just said that he probably should go because of the way that things were. And as you said, Lee, at the top of the show, the dressing room harmony wasn't there. Players like Pogba and Lingard were doing whatever they wanted to do. And effectively, that was one of his downfalls. But, you know, we brought in Solskjaer. It was again, as I said, it's from left field. Got him in from Mulder, but then again he brought in Mike Phelan, who's obviously worked wonders in backroom staff. He's integrated McKenna and Carrick, and it's looking good for us so far, man. I can't complain. I shouldn't complain. I've got no right to complain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing I will definitely say about you both of you, you with Pogba and obviously Lee, famously with Ozil, is that you guys aren't afraid to ruffle feathers, shall we say? Because both of those players have very die-hard set of fans, shall we say?
Ain't my fault they get ruffled. I just say what I see. You know, I just say what I see. If they can't hack it, that's up to them.
Yeah. In terms of kind of looking head towards Friday, Stel, obviously you've come off the back of a winning run. I would say probably your last couple of games made people think, oh, okay, these motherfuckers are serious. How do you view the game? Do you see it as an important game? Because I kind of feel like, all right, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's the next round of a cup competition, and that's always important. But looking even further into the future of a potential top four battle, it's key, right? It's a key game.
From a psychological perspective, I don't think it makes a difference because it's a cup game. In all fairness, the thing is, I've always respected the FA Cup. When I grew up, that was the first trophy that I remember United winning. In fact, it was the trophy that we went for that almost got Ferguson sacked. Had it not been for Mark Robins scoring against Nottingham Forest, he'd have been out of a job, and that's fact. So I love the FA Cup. I remember the cup final against Crystal Palace, a 3-3, and then the replay, the 1-0. You know, I remember the cup final against Chelsea. I remember losing to Everton in the final. I remember losing to Arsenal in the final and beating Arsenal in the semi-final. You know, United is synonymous with the FA Cup, because prior to us winning the league, or should I say Division 1 or the Premier League as it was created in 92-93, the FA Cup was the only trophy that we were really battling for 26, 27 years. We lost to Arsenal in 79. We lost to Southampton in 76, 77 season. But we were winning it in 83. We were winning it in 85. And, you know, this was a trophy that a lot of United fans growing up were used to winning. And then obviously you got the younger generation that remember the 90s winning, you know, X amount of league titles and whatnot. So I love the FA Cup. But the only thing is, because of the way that TV has bastardized it, you don't get the fun of it anymore. And Lee is a couple of years younger than me, around about the same age. You'll remember Grandstand on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, man.
The build-up, you'd have the cameras.
Road to Wembley and all that. Yeah,
there
man.
You go. And then you'd have the helicopter flying over.
8 o'clock in the morning, all day. Yeah.
All day. But then TV got hold of it, or should I say the BT and whatnot, they got hold of it, and the sponsors changed things around, and it made it less attractive. And granted, yes, you know, United pulling out of the tournament in 2000 kind of damaged it a little, but my argument to that is, well, had it not been for the FA putting pressure on United to pull out of that, to enter that World Club tournament because of England's World Cup bid, might I add, United would have been defending it, and Chelsea winning the FA Cup wouldn't have a little asterisk saying United did not compete in this tournament. But, you know, going on to your question about the importance of the game, I think it's a vitally important game for both clubs, and I mean that because it will show you how far both clubs have come this season. And by that, I mean, Arsenal, obviously, you guys have had that fantastic unbeaten stretch, but then you went on a little bit of a slump, and you're kind of getting back to it now. But then it's a test of character. You beat Chelsea the other day, and then here come United to town, who are in arguably the best form that they've been since I can last remember, 2013, 2014, if that. And it's a test for us because, granted, Spurs was our biggest test, but this is Arsenal, and you guys are going through a slump. So we're looking at Arsenal thinking, yeah, they're a club steeped in history. We've got so much history with these guys, and they've got a great team going forward. But they're in a bit of a slump. And are we going to be complacent? Are we going to be stepping down a gear? And I don't want to see that. I want us to go full pelt against you guys, because this could be the only trophy we win this season.
Unmute yourself, mate.
Me or him?
No, me. That's fair. All right. In that case, let me ask the same question to Lee. Do you see this as potentially something that could motivate the boys in order to take strides to? Because I'll be honest, I'm more worried about United than I am about Chelsea when it comes to the league. And United are behind us, but the momentum they have at the moment. Where's your head at with this race?
What, for the top four?
Yeah.
Before I get onto that, I just want to echo what Stel said. You know, and top four is a massive part of why this competition's been degraded, because now it's more money for finishing in Champions League spot, being third loser in the league, than it is to actually have a day out at Wembley and win a cup. Yeah, how is that in any way right? I just don't get it. You know, back in the day, it was the team that won the league qualified for the European Cup. Yeah, not this. Oh, you can finish fourth. It don't matter. It's a trophy, and you get, you know, a knockout game to qualify for Champions League group stage. It's fucking pathetic, mate. But there's a lot of reasons why these cups have been devalued. But one thing I will say, and I know obviously Stel's Man U, but Man City don't seem to devalue these competitions. Arsenal don't devalue them, you know. And let's be real, Man City are still probably the best squad in the league overall. I know they're not top of the league, but they have got the best squad. And well, unless Burton wins 10-0 tonight, yeah, they're going to be in another final defending their trophy from last season for the League Cup. You know, and Chelsea won the FA Cup last year. We won it the year before. You know, and it's always that do compete in the final normally. Yes, I know you've had a Southampton. Years gone by, you've had
Wigan won it, didn't they?
Yeah,
Portsmouth.
You've had Portsmouth. You had Swansea win the League Cup.
Coventry in '87 against Spurs.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. If you go back, I went through them the other day, right? I think other than Portsmouth, sorry, not Portsmouth, Wigan. Yeah, the last winners from outside of the top teams was Coventry, I think.
'87, yeah.
Yeah, and the season before that was
didn't win it in '86 and
no, I think it was somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was another lesser team. But
I know West Ham won it in '80.
Yeah, see, this is how far we've got to go back now. We're nearly 40 years ago.
Spurs won it in '81.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like, you've got to go back that far to have a sustained run of not a top team from now. Do you know what I mean? Right? So normally these teams do get to the final and do win it, right? But the way they chuck out reserve teams, like, I'll give you an example, right? Leicester the other week against Newport County, wholesale piss take. If I was a Leicester City fan, right, I'd demand a refund for that, because you're not going to do fuck all in the league. Right, you've gone all the way to Newport County, and your manager's gone, yeah, bollocks to that, I'm putting a youth team out. Sorry, you've paid fucking 30 quid for a ticket or whatever it may cost. You've travelled all the way to fucking Wales, yeah, from Leicester, right? And you get served up that, and then you lose. Yeah,
Lee, do you know what?
I'd be demanding a refund. It's a piss take.
Part of me thinks that some Leicester players didn't fancy it.
Do you know what, right?
Some players didn't fancy it.
Well, you might have a point, but one thing I will say here as well is our former manager, who is no longer here, right? He started all this bullshit of reserve teams in cup competitions, right? Let's be real. He did.
Well,
he used to put the youth teams out.
Fergie did it in '94 when he played Skulls at Port Vale, and your Keith Gillespie's and your Pat McGibbons and Kevin Pilkingtons.
Yeah, I get that, right? So,
League Cup.
Yeah, exactly. League Cup. Right, FA Cup, League Cup, I fucking said his name. Fuckers, right?
Yes.
But
£1, motherfucker.
But he said when in a German accent. He didn't say
exactly Ven. Yeah. But these managers that are of top four, right, or top six as it is now, yeah, they disregard this competition until the latter stages when they're in a semi-final, right? And it fucking winds me up. Last season, I went all the way to Nottingham Forest, right? We were the holders of the competition. Went all the way to Nottingham, reserve team, reserve bench. Yeah, we got spanked 4-2, and it could have been 14-2. Yeah, and I was fucking fuming because this was the competition that saved that geezer's ass 3 times, right? At least. Yeah, and he goes, oh yeah, fuck winning it again this year. We'll put a reserve team out when we're the holders. Yeah, and like Stel says, right, grandstand, 8 a.m. road to Wembley. You got the choppers following the coaches to the ground. You got the players in their suits on the pitch. Yeah, you get the
fans outside the hotels with the flags and everything.
Exactly, and you get the build-up of how they made it to Wembley. Yeah, you got ex-players from either team in the studio. Yeah, and they're giving their thoughts, and then like you go and get the fans' perspective. It was a whole day build-up. Yeah, now it's like you got Premier League games on the same day sometimes. It's a fucking joke. It is a fucking disgrace, right? But not only that, not just the FA Cup, right? And I know I'm going off topic here, yeah, but the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, having the draw 5,000 miles away. Sorry, what's that all about? Yeah, it's all about sponsorship now. So it's yeah, fuck that. How many renames has that competition had? The League Cup, Milk Cup, yeah, Coca-Cola Cup. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a fucking
Littlewoods
joke.
Cup,
Littlewood's Cup, exactly.
Rombelo's Cup.
Yeah, man. I think Worthington Cup, Carling Cup. You know, there's 6 we've named straight away. Now it's the Carabao Cup. There's 7 renames, yeah? Right? It's a fucking joke.
Question,
the thing is,
what the fuck is a Carabao, by the way?
It's an energy drink.
Yeah.
Oh, is it energy drink? Okay.
Yeah, it's an energy drink. But what I was saying,
idea.
right, is if you add that to the fact that the Premier League was formed, you add that to Sky and BT Sport coming into the game, you add that to the European Cup changing to the Champions League, you add that from the UEFA Cup changing to Europa League, yeah? It's all killed the cup competitions in this country, right? So now it doesn't matter if your team don't win a cup. You got teams, fans, right, of lesser clubs that go, oh, it's only the shit cup. It's the fucking FA Cup. You know, the people that are my generation, our generation, rate the FA Cup. All the new school of fan have only grown up in the Premier League era. Don't give a toss about this cup. Oh, it's just a shit cup. Yeah, fuck it off. Let's get top 4. Sorry, 4th is 3rd loser. I want to win a trophy. Because when I'm older, I can go, I was at Wembley when Aaron Ramsey scored that winning goal against Chelsea as soon as they'd equalised. I was at Wembley when this guy scored and we lost. Or I was at Wembley when we won that. What are you going to tell your fucking grandkids if you ain't won nothing? Oh, yeah, I remember when we finished 4th. Come on, man. It's all about winning trophies.
Ask the Wigan fans what they feel about winning the FA Cup.
Exactly. You know, they don't give a fuck they got relegated.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't care. They won a cup.
I think that's the thing, Lee. This, you know, sorry to cut you off there, Cheek, but it's the modern day fan entitlement. That's what it is, and it really bugs me because I'm old school in my way of thinking and the way I approach football, and you know, it's just it's disappointing because again, I remember growing up watching these cup finals, even teams that I didn't support. You know, cup finals. I remember Liverpool playing Sunderland.
Cup final was a big thing, man.
Yeah, Liverpool Sunderland in the final in '92, I think it was. '92 when Michael Thomas scored.
Legend.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, to them, didn't he? You know? But yeah, Chelsea
weirdly, we sold him to Liverpool. What's that all about?
Yeah. Where's Graham Souness, wasn't it? Wasn't it Souness that signed him?
Yeah, what's that all about? He scores the winner at Anfield in '89. Then we go, here you go, have him.
Well, that's probably why Souness hates Pogba so much because he thought Michael Thomas would be, and Pogba would be like Michael Thomas. I don't know.
Yeah, he really does.
No, but you're right, man. Like cup final day, even if your team wasn't in it, it was a whole day event. You had all your friends and family around, barbecue and all that, yeah, right. And it was just a big event. Now it's just a sideshow to the Premier League, and that's fucking sad, man. Because we all remember football before the Premier League. And yes, it's done wonders in terms of revenue and stuff like that, and Sky Sports, that's great. And it's now a global fan base, which has helped revenue. I get that, right? But it's also brought a degrading of the cup competitions and a new generation of fan that doesn't watch the game, they watch statistics. So now your player could have a shit game. And I'll give you an example here. Aaron Ramsey, I think it was Everton or West Ham. He fell over the ball and Aubameyang scored. He literally touched the ball, but he fell over as he touched it, and it backheeled, and Aubameyang tapped it in. That game, he registered. I think it was Everton. I think Lacazette got goal of the month for Arsenal that game. Yeah, He pinged a fucking 20-yarder top bins, right? But that was a 4-yard pass. That game, Aaron Ramsey stunk the whole Emirates out, man. He had the worst game I've seen him have for years and years and years. After the game, I was talking to fans outside the ground. They're going, oh, yeah, but he got 2 assists. And fucking what? Yeah? And that is the new generation of fan in a nutshell. It doesn't matter whether you drop a 0 out of 10, as long as you get an assist, that's a pass. Yeah? Or, yeah, but he's got X amount of fucking chances created. Who cares, man? Did anyone give a shit about this for fucking Eric Cantona or fucking Bergkamp? No, because we used to watch the game. Yeah? We'd come out the ground and go, oh, Bergkamp had the stinker today. Now, I'll give you an example. I had this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine, Zach, yeah? Big up, Zach, if you're watching, right? He said to me, he goes, Dennis Bergkamp couldn't hit a barn door for about fucking 6 months at Arsenal when he first came, right? But he was setting up righty, left, right and centre. He just couldn't score a goal. Now, yeah, and Arsenal fans back then, I remember this, Arsenal fans back then were going, fuck me, we signed a dud here, haven't we? Yeah? Fucking Bergkamp's fucking useless. Can't score in a fucking brothel. But now...
I remember that story as well.
Yeah, now, right, that would be... Yeah, but Bergkamp got 10 assists in that 6 months. Yeah, he's fucking world class.
No, to be fair, even the Arsenal players are like, flipping that. It's not that good,
and then he pinged that fucking goal against Southampton.
Yeah.
Bosh, the rest is history, mate. Yeah, fucking... But now that would be... he's got X amount of assists, so it don't matter that he ain't scored. And that is... I know football moves on, life moves on, society moves on. I'm on an iPhone. That weren't around when I started watching football, yeah? But at the same time, to put forward an argument that, oh, yeah, it's a shit cup, or X players had a good game because he registered an assist. Come on, man. Seriously. I've seen games. Stel, you and I as well, right? You had Van Nistelrooy in your team, yeah? Right? You can say whatever you want about Van Nistelrooy as an Arsenal fan for Keown jumping all over him and all that, yeah? Right? Van Nistelrooy was fucking relentless as a goal scorer, yeah? Right?
I hated him for it.
Yeah, but the amount of times that geezer did nothing for 90 minutes, stoppage time, bang, 1 shot, 1 goal. Yeah? Doesn't mean he had a good game, but he still won the game for you, yeah? Right? Same with Thierry Henry. He could drop a 0 out of 10, but 1 moment of brilliance, bang, goal. Right? But it don't mean he's had a good game. Yeah? So why can't you say he's had a bad game? Now, it's, oh, yeah, but he got an assist or he scored a goal, so he's great. Yeah. Come on, man. Fucking watch the game, watch the players, and, like, assess the overall fucking...
But conversely, that works the other way as well. So you may get an Alex Iwobi who won't necessarily get a goal, who won't necessarily get an assist,
but his work rate and his
game. But you have people talking the world of shit. So it does happen both ways. Yeah. Stats, like you say, there is so much focus.
You've actually hit the nail on the head there, right? I think it was Burnley. Was it Burnley? Yeah, it was Burnley, I think, right? We played a couple of weeks ago at the Emirates, right? Alex Iwobi in the first half was fucking fantastic, right? But then he gave the ball away a couple of times towards the end of the first half, right? Straight away, the fans are on his case. And it's like, come on, man. He's given the ball away twice in 45 minutes, yeah? Second half, first time he gives the ball away, groans and moans. And you progressively see him in that second half get gradually worse and worse and worse. But if that's their favourite players, yeah, oh, it don't matter. Yeah, it don't matter. Come on, mate. Come on, keep your head up. Don't matter. Yeah, and it fucking winds me up. It infuriates me, this, like, fanboy mentality and favourites. Like Mustafi, Xhaka and Iwobi get singled out at Arsenal, left, right and centre, right? Now, whilst I can kind of understand it, when they're on the pitch, back them. Yeah. I'd say this about Ozil all the time. I'll slag the geezer off left, right and centre, yeah? If he steps on the pitch on Friday night, I will be fucking cheering for that geezer to do something decent. Yeah, and I'll back him.
It's funny. I was going to ask Stel, what do you make of the whole Ozil situation in terms of Emre leaving him out? And do you think he's going to play against you guys on Friday?
Okay, well, Mesut Özil is a player that clearly doesn't fit in Unai Emery's plans. And we saw, I remember the Chelsea game, the second game of the season?
Yeah.
Where he hooked him. And you can tell from then that Ozil isn't the kind of player that he wants. Unai Emery loves playing high pressing. He loves players that get stuck in, but they get involved in the game, whether it be making runs or tracking balls or making use of the space that they get.
He's a hard-working manager. Sorry, a manager that likes hard-working players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his philosophy on running statistics like Klopp. Because Klopp wants players to run like 12 kilometers a game or something ridiculous like that. I don't know what Unai Emery's philosophy is in that respect, but you could tell by the signings that he's made, like your Guendouzi's, your Torreiras, players that got engines, players that are tenacious, players that are willing to give 110%. Now, I like Mesut Özil as a footballer. I think he's arguably one of the most creative players we've seen in the Premier League, right, in recent years, right? The problem is his attitude, and it's something that goes back to what I said to you guys months ago when I was talking about Hector Bellerin, about players that are worried more about their brand than anything. And lo and behold, a couple of weeks after I said that about Bellerin, he's fucking off doing all of these modelling shoots. So hey, I guess I know something about marketing, don't I? And that's the thing with Ozil. I remember when I went to do the Pogba interview for NBC last 2017, and
yeah, all right, show off.
Yeah, sorry, mate. It was at the Adidas store in Oxford Circus, and they had a section with Mesut Özil just doing kick-ups on a video and all that kind of stuff. And
his back was all right that day.
Well, yeah, there you go. But it was all about his branding, and it was all about focusing on Mesut Özil, the as I said, the brand, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what he's done now. And retiring from international football, and the manner in which he did it has only boosted his stock, because they're saying, right, this guy's taking a stand for racism, so we can use him. It's like a Colin Kaepernick kind of thing, and market him that way. So, yeah, I think his heart is elsewhere, in my honest opinion. I think that obviously he does love Arsenal Football Club. He loves the money that comes through the bank as well.
Mate, look, hang on. Can I just cut in? Sorry to cut you off. He don't love Arsenal Football Club. Let's just have that right.
You don't think?
No. Mate, listen, it's not like the old days, mate, where you had Tony Adams who run through a brick wall. Tony Adams loves Arsenal Football Club, yeah?
No, I'm not saying that he's one of those players that beats his chest and has his heart on his sleeve. I mean, I think he loves the whole ethos about it, the fact that he's one of the big fish, so to speak. He loves the fact that
I get that. I think
I'll
give you a better example. Olivier Giroud, right? I went in on fans that were singing his name as he was coming on for Chelsea the other day, yeah, after booing Lacazette being substituted. Right, and I was like, "Why the fuck are we singing for him? He plays for Chelsea." After the game, he came running over to all four corners of the ground and clapped at all the fans. He never got a goodbye, yeah, right. And I stood there and I clapped him for about a minute, right. And he was patting his chest and all that. Like, that guy was forced out of Arsenal so we could sign Aubameyang, right. Now, for me, he gets it. He respected where he came from, and he got to a big club. Right,
I do believe Julian loved the club. I do believe,
and that. I think I wouldn't. No football. Listen, let's have it right here. Yeah, no footballer loves the football club the way an Arsenal fan or a Chelsea.
Of course, no. Right? We're not saying that.
But I don't think Mesut Özil loves the club. He loves the idea that he's loved at the club.
Mate, I love some places I work. I wouldn't die for the fucking thing, man.
Can I just cut you 2 seconds, lads? I need to ask you something, right? This is my honest opinion, and who's opening cake?
Sorry, man, I've got.
It is WD-40, as Ola would say.
No, that's the door where I live. That's the front door.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is that when Mesut Özil joined Arsenal, I know there was a big fanfare and people partying in the streets and that kind of stuff. And don't say it didn't happen.
Sky Sports reporters getting whacked with dildos. And
there you go. But do you think, because I believe this with Di Maria. I don't think Di Maria wanted to join United, but Real Madrid wanted to get rid of him, and no one else could afford him at the time. Do you think that Mesut Özil didn't really want to join Arsenal, but because
100%,
yeah,
100%.
I agree and I disagree with Lee. Because I know you're going to get into it. Let me say my piece real quick. I don't think he necessarily wanted to join the club. However, I do disagree with Lee in the sense that I don't necessarily think he loves the club, but I do think he's very comfortable where he is. So I do think he's desperate to not leave because he's comfortable with the money. I think, particularly before Emre came, everything was structured around Ozil. It was Ozil's world. Even the players are in awe of him, and I think you can tell that. But I don't think he has any. I don't think once he leaves Arsenal, Arsenal will be in his heart. I don't believe that at all. I think he has an excellent PR team. And I think when he does leave the club, they will spout all that kind of rubbish.
Yeah, but Cheek, Ozil's PR team have used Arsenal as a vehicle to get that brand Ozil out there. Had it not been for, because don't get me wrong, listen, United are probably one of the biggest clubs in the world, but in terms of a social media following, Arsenal's fans are the most intense, and that's the word that I use as positively as I can.
Most deluded as well.
Oh, you said that, not me. But he knew that due to this massive social media following, his people could use that to their advantage and boost brand Ozil. Now, I know there's a lot of fans out there that really like him for whatever reason. They like him because he for the assists, for everything that he's done, especially at Real Madrid, and people like to bring up those stats from when he was at Real Madrid and so providing also Ronaldo, whatever. But the fact is, when you look at compare and contrast Mesut Ozil's attitude to, say, Aaron Ramsey's, it's chalk and cheese. Here you've got 100%. Here you got a player, and I had this argument with I couldn't believe I was actually defending Aaron Ramsey. I was at a friend's birthday in March, right, March 2018, and a friend of mine that was there, I said to him, "You can't get rid of Aaron Ramsey." He goes, "Oh no, he's finished." I said, "Listen, this kid is quality." I call him kid, but I'm 38. But this lad is quality. Oh no, he's done, and this and that. All these injuries. What you got to understand is that this player has done so much for Arsenal over the past few years. He's been pivotal to the success that Arsenal had, in the past few years. And irrespective of whether it only be an FA Cup or not, he's been pivotal. And for you guys to let him go on the free is absolutely ridiculous. He goes, "Oh, well, no top club would sign him." Well, I messaged him a couple of weeks ago. I said, what do you mean no top club would sign him? He signed for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world. So
for free.
For nothing, exactly.
But I get your point, Stel, on Ramsey, right? But how many clubs were in for him when he was under contract? No,
I know, Lee, but what I'm saying is, in terms of his commitment to the club, don't forget, Arsenal backed him when he had that injury. And he didn't kick up a stink when he was in flying form, and he wasn't saying, "I want out," like Van Persie did. He wasn't warning out like other players did. He still stuck to the club because they stuck by him. Whereas you got Mesut Özil sitting there on 350 bags. He's probably thinking, "What the fuck, man? This guy, he's got a back injury, he's got a cold, he's got syphilis, he's got this, he's got any kind of excuse not to turn up to train or whatever."
Shopping in Sweden.
Well, there you go. Whatever.
And sorry, Lee. Just because I want to respond to the chat room real quick. The chat room is moaning about the fact that we're talking about Ozil again, right?
We're talking about every show, man.
We'll talk about Pogba if you want. I don't mind.
And don't get me wrong. We'll move on. We'll move on. But I don't understand how a player who is paid as much as he is our biggest player in terms of the fact of his profile, of his wages, of his supposedly of his technical ability. If he's being left out of the team, how do you expect us as a chat, as a podcaster, to not touch on that? I know people don't necessarily like the way Lee approaches that, but that's the way Lee approaches it. So this is
there's a reason it's been brought up, and that's because we're playing Man United Friday.
This is exactly
right. And he didn't play against Chelsea, which at the time was our biggest game of the season, because if we lost, we're 9 behind. Right?
And there's a real question ahead of that United game, which is where I was going to sign off the Ozil subject, which is he going to play? So chat room, give it a rest, yo. Give it a rest sometimes. If we're talking about a subject, there's a reason we're talking about the subject. I know that, sometimes we may touch on that subject a lot, but because it's prominent.
Can I just say it, right? Can I just say it? I've never seen a footballer more protected than this guy. In 30 odd years watching football, right? And no, mate, trust me. You tweet anything about Ozil that's in a negative light, even if it's your opinion, mate, you got 14, 15, 16-year-olds coming for you, with Mesut Ozil hats and pictures of Ozil,
Lee,
with pie charts, mate. So
people have accused me of being racist because I said
I get it all the time, mate.
Because Pogba didn't do enough under Jose Mourinho to warrant the £90 million fee on the pitch, and I'm racist for it.
Well, it's fact.
I see how that makes sense.
It's fact. He ain't lived up to the hype, the same as the guy we're talking about right now. He ain't
but
lived
that's
up to
the
the
thing.
hype.
It's the same thing on anything. If you have a strong opinion on anything these days, you are against that person, either racially, culturally, something. There's something you don't like them for a reason.
You have an agenda. I've actually muted the word agenda on Twitter.
Opinions are not allowed on social media because you have an agenda against them. That's what I've learned very.
You get told it. It's funny, right? Because I get told all the time, "Oh, you've got an agenda against him. You're always tweeting about him." No, it's just you reply when I do tweet about him. You miss the other 1,000 fucking tweets, yeah, where I'm bigging up the club, bigging up the manager, bigging up Bellerin, yeah. Apparently, last season I had an agenda against Bellerin, yeah. Right, my agenda was for him to perform how I know he can fucking perform. This season, go and search my and type Bellerin next to my yeah. I've done nothing but praise the kid all season.
And that's the thing.
Because he's fucking rocked up.
And I co-sign that, because anyone who watched that video that Lee did and then compare it to the praise that he's given Bellerin this season will know that it's just about wanting the club to do well, which is why I call myself an Arsenal fanboy.
Listen, no player's bigger than the club, right?
Chris, apart from if your name's Stel, of course.
Chris, this season, right? This season, I'll give you an example, right? Right, I'm in a group chat with about 30 other Arsenal fans, right? And me and a few others don't particularly rate Mr. Ozil, right? The rest of them pretty much love him off, yeah? Right? And they go, "Oh, you got an agenda against you, fucking hate him," winding me up all the time. So what I do now is I just link every single video I've done on your channel, my channels, and AFTV where I've praised him. Yeah? I go, yeah, agenda? What, Newcastle away this season? Yeah, I said Mesut Özil was the best player on the pitch second half. Yeah? Everton away last season, praised him. We won 5-2. Atletico at home, praised him. Best player on the pitch. Newcastle at home last season, he scored a screamer. And if you look at my video on my channel, yeah, I actually said, yeah, he was as good as Zidane today. I actually said that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's like little things, yeah. People fucking, they take the negative every time. It's like, you know, you're only replying when I'm saying something that you don't agree with about your favourite player. And listen, when I was growing up, right, Ian Wright was my idol. There was no social media. There was no mobile phones. I used to go and run around in a fucking park playing football, pretending I was Ian Wright. Kids nowadays ain't running around in a park playing football because now the parks are having houses built on them. So now they're sitting at home on a social network site, cussing other people that don't like their favourite player, right? So times have changed, yeah? Having this fanboy mentality was completely different for me growing up than it is for kids now growing up. Because now it's online. It's a global thing. Whereas when I was growing up, it was just 5 of us in a fucking park playing football. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Pretending you're Ian Wright. Yeah. Now it's a cult. Yeah. And I called it a cult. It's a cult. And the cult of Ozil is worse than the cult of the previous manager. Because it is. I'm not even lying. Right? If I tweet out right now, Mesut Ozil's the best player in world football, I'll get abused.
But here's the thing, though.
If I tweet out, hang on. If I tweet out, Mesut Ozil is bang average, PR merchant, overrated, I'll get abused. So do you know what? That's why I fucking keep it real and say what I see. And when he plays well, I'll back him and praise him. And when he's playing shit, I'll fucking have a point of view about it. And one last thing, Chig. Sorry, one last thing, right? Let's have it right here. Let's have it fucking right here, yeah? He held this club to ransom and waited for Sanchez to make the first move. Okay? So as soon as Sanchez made the first move, he went, fucking, as a result, 350 grand a week. Thank you very much. Yeah? If he had been binned and we'd got rid of him, right, Sanchez would have got the 350. And Sanchez would have been seen as the best thing since sliced bread. The fact of the matter is, Ozil was very clever because he's got the whole PR behind him and the brand, as Stel was saying. Sanchez don't give a fuck about brand. You've only got to look at his social media following to see that he's like on level par with fucking Tottenham, right? Whereas Ozil's got more followers on every network than Arsenal fucking football club, right? And for me, when I tweet something saying we should get rid of him, he's on 350 grand a week. And if you go and watch my AFTV interview from the weekend, right? I said to Robbie, I said he's on 350 grand a week. He got a 210 grand a week pay rise off of the back of 6th and 5th, right? Basically, his wages pay for 3 players, or at least 2 players of top quality, to come in. Arsenal Football Club is bigger and better than me, you, and any fucking member of staff that plays here, yeah? Right? So for the best thing for this football club, right, which is my agenda, the football club that I've supported over 30 years, for me, my opinion is the best option is to get rid of your best player, which means the club move forward. You isolate one man instead of going and isolating 5 on less wages. It's easier to isolate one. And Emery is not dropping him without the board's backing. That's my view on it.
Lee, we did it with Beckham, right? Beckham was becoming too
exactly
big. And regardless of how much he was worth for us from a marketing perspective or commercial perspective, it was time to go. And granted, we didn't get a good deal out of it, to be fair, but it eased a lot of pressure on Ferguson. It enabled us to bring in the likes of Ronaldo and all these other players like your Wayne Rooney's. It freed up the wage bill. And I think that what you guys need to take into consideration is that when Unai Emery took over, he gave everyone a clean slate. He was like, right, you need to prove yourselves, which is a clever thing to do, because when you got the likes of Petr Cech that have been around the block and have got so much experience, you can't drop him immediately for Leno. You know, so he's
exactly same why Koscielny got the captain's armband, or one of the captains, because he was injured. But you ain't going to disregard and ruin the camp on day one, are you?
Exactly, because that's suicide. So what he did, he gave people their chances, and the ones that have performed are getting their opportunities week in, week out. And it goes back to what I said about Ramsey and Ozil. Ramsey has been given his opportunity. He's taken it with both hands. Granted, he's leaving, but he's taken it with both hands because that shows his commitment. Ozil has been practically a bit part player, and granted, I know people are pissed off about it, or a lot of Arsenal fans are pissed off about it, but if he's not doing what Unai Emery asks him to do, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, you've either got people
his
that
job's on the line at the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly. So then what? Okay, let's say he plays Mesut Özil for 20 games and you win 10 out of those 20, but the rest of them you get mediocre results, right? And then at the end of the season, the Arsenal will say, "Well, thanks, but no thanks. You've had a season." Okay, I'm just being hypothetical here, but let's just say he loses his job. And then you've got people saying, well, why didn't they give him a chance? Well, they did give him a chance, but then he had to play Mesut Özil to appease the fans, and the results didn't come their way. Granted, Mesut Özil isn't the only problem that Arsenal have, because you've obviously got a hierarchy there that really don't give a shit about the club and care more about the finances.
The two biggest things, right, and I'm going to end this my bit on this, right? You're spot on with David Beckham, and Fergie's actual quote when Beckham was gone was, "As soon as one man becomes more important than the football club, it's time to say goodbye." Yeah, that was his actual quote when Beckham left. As soon as one man becomes bigger or more important than the football club, it is time to say goodbye. That is what we've got with Ozil. The second thing and last thing I will say on this, our two biggest results and most important results to date under Unai Emery were Tottenham, which we won 4-2 without him, and Chelsea at the weekend, where we totally took the piss out of them and it was fully in control without him. So moving forward,
it's vindicating his decision.
Exactly. So there we go. That's me done on that topic.
All right. So this is the funny thing about these motherfuckers, right? They're now done on the topic, but neither of these fuckers answered the damn question.
He ain't starting against Man United.
Would he play the weekend?
That's it. I'm done. He ain't starting against United.
I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll play against us, because if he plays against us, then we'll just stick Herrera on him and Herrera will batter him. That's the way it will go. And I think Unai Emery is smarter than that. I think he's way too smart than that. I think you're going to see the likes of Iwobi, a lot of free flowing footballers, dynamic players to play against us, really. And I can see.
Go on.
I can see Lacazette starting up top with Aubameyang coming from deep on the left hand side.
And this is the thing, right? Let's not get it twisted here. He is the most technically gifted footballer at the club.
What you done, motherfucker?
No, but I'm going on to what I was going to say, right? It's a consistency thing. So that's why Iwobi has started, because consistently Iwobi performs better in what Unai Emery wants him to do, right? That's why Guendouzi's played so many games, big games. Man City, Chelsea the other night, Man United away, Tottenham. He's come on against Tottenham. So many big games that kid has played, because in training, he is doing exactly what the manager wants him to do. So when people are getting the because their favourite player is not playing and the likes of Iwobi and Guendouzi are playing, they're being called headless chickens, yeah, that's cool. Call them headless chickens. The only person whose opinion actually fucking matters is Unai Emery's. And he's picking them based on what he's seeing in training.
And I must admit, that's the thing. I get, all right, taking the Nigerian thing out of it, throw it in the corner for a second. I get what Emery likes about Iwobi. I completely get it. Because he's a trier. B, he's the one person that will get the ball in the team and say, right, come on, run at me. Let's do this. And he may lose the ball. He may take on 3 fucking players and sky it over the ball. But the fact that he is that player that is going to run at you and dribble the ball and is direct, he's our most direct player. He really is. When you really think about it, who is more direct than Iwobi? Every time he gets the ball, all he thinks is go forward. That's it. And for everybody like me who bitches and moans about the fact that whenever it looks like we're counter-attacking, the first thing we think of is, I'm going to pass it to the side. I'm going to pass it behind. I can't stand it. That's what I love about Iwobi, because he has that attacking mentality. And on Iwobi, I just wanted to get Stel's opinion on Iwobi, because Stel, you study a lot of Premier League players. You do that for your podcast, which for everybody who's listening, we've got over 160 people listening at the moment. It's Shoot the Defense. Go find it. It's an excellent podcast that Stel hosts.
Thank you.
What is your opinion on Alex Iwobi?
The thing is, it's very difficult to judge a player so young. And he is quite young, isn't he? How is he? 22, 23, if that?
22, yeah.
22, 23. Now, how many 22-year-olds have come from a youth system and hit the ground running? How many in the Premier League at the moment? I can say probably Marcus Rashford, who came in when he was 17. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I mean, look at Jesse Lingard. You know, even Fergie said that you won't make it until you're at least 23 years old. And lo and behold, he made his debut at 23 years old. Alex Iwobi is one of those dynamic footballers that can really give you a lot. His pace, he's tricky. He's good at running at players, and pace kills at the end of the day. But he's not a one-trick pony. He works hard for the team. He's dedicated. He's got all the ingredients that Unai Emery wants in a player. The problem that you guys have is that you've got certain fans that expect too much from youngsters that break through, because Arsenal are steeped in history when it comes to producing youngsters. You've seen it in the past with, so many youngsters under Arsene Wenger have come through, and people are basing the current crop of talent on the previous lot. And it's a simple mistake to make, because United fans are guilty of doing the same thing. We've had so many youngsters come through and people saying, oh, Borthwick Jackson is going to be great and this one's going to be great. Why? And they're basing it on something that happened in the class of 92. They're basing it on players that have gradually come through over the years. But apart from, like I said, Rashford and possibly Lingard, I can't think of any great youth product we've produced in the past 6 or 7 years. I mean, I've mentioned Welbeck in the past. You guys have got him. I laughed when you lot signed him. I thought, great.
Yeah, we did.
I laughed, but that's not because he's a bad player. It's because of his attitude. And I've spoken about this before, and I'm not going to go into it again, because then people are going to be like, oh, you're racist. But, okay, Tom Cleverley, he's another one. Dog shit player. Johnny Evans was all right, but then you got other ones. And it's just, you can't judge Iwobi on one full season. You've got to judge him in his duration at Arsenal. And he's a player for the future. We've seen the likes of Ray Parlour break through from the youth system and done remarkably well for Arsenal. You can't say that he hasn't. He was a fantastic footballer. And I think if Iwobi is given the opportunity to thrive and to show the best of his ability, you have a decent player there. But unfortunately, the weight of expectation can kill a player as well, And
mind you, Iwobi has been a lot better and more consistent this season, but people don't like to highlight that.
But this is what I'm saying. You've got a player that the manager rates because he sticks to a plan. He gives him a game plan and he sticks to it. I've never seen Unai Emery give him a rollicking on the touchline. Never. Yeah. I don't know what happens, obviously, in the change room or at half-time or full-time, whatever, but I've never seen Unai Emery lambasting him on the touchline, telling him to track back or do anything like you see him do with other players. But that's because Iwobi does a job. And it's players like that don't get the respect that they do.
When Iwobi signed his new contract, right, go and have a look at the tweet, yeah? All the negative comments, replies, yeah? Where Iwobi's tagged in that tweet, where he's signing a new 5-year deal or 4-year deal, whatever it is. oh, fucking hell's this dick signing for our club? How's this? How's that? And people want to fucking say, I've got an agenda. You're replying to Alex Iwobi and he might see that, yeah?
It's not
Right?
fairly because this guy's a kid. He's still a kid.
Exactly.
We don't realize
exactly.
how many people at 22, and think about it, when you were 22, mate, if you were playing for a top Premier League team, earning X amount of money, playing in World Cups, that's pressure, man. I know people are going to say to me always, he should be able to handle the pressure because he's a celebrity, he's a Premier League player. Yes, I agree, it's part of the package. But they're humans at the end of the day. There's people that suffer from depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know if he's suffering for that kind of stuff. So to lambast him at 22 years old and to say,
do you know what the worst thing about it is still, right? He broke into the team. He done really well. He's been piss poorly managed under the previous regime. Right?
100%.
He should have had a loan. He didn't, right?
Yeah.
But then somebody like Reece Nelson, who's played a handful of games for Arsenal, right, has gone on loan, can't even get in Hoffenheim's team now after scoring 6 goals, right, in 7 shots or whatever, something stupid he had. Yeah, that kid, when he comes back to Arsenal next season, will be fucking lauded as the fucking saviour of Arsenal Football Club, right, based on a handful of games and scoring 6 goals for a club in Germany. He can't even get in their squad. But then somebody like Alex Iwobi, yeah, I hear it on match days, mate. The fucking shit that people come, and I'm talking like racist shit, yeah, vile abuse in the stands, and he can hear that, right? I would never, ever fucking racially abuse a footballer, anyone, let alone for that matter, yeah, right? The fact that people do it at football grounds on that kid who is 22 years old, right, and the fact that he still pulls his socks up, gets on the pitch, and still tries again the next week, yeah, right, because that could kill any footballer, right? And I always harp on about this, right? When we played Man City, we played them in the cup final last season, right? 4 days later, we played them on a Thursday night at the Emirates, right? And it was snowing, it was freezing cold, and the stadium was dead. There was about 30,000 people there, right? David Silva put them 2-0 up. Half of that fans fucked off and left. Yeah, they're like 20 odd minutes in, they're 2-0 up, 15,000 just bowl out the ground, yeah? You could hear a pin drop, right? Alex Iwobi got injured in the second half, right? And he went off on the halfway line and he had to walk he got subbed, right? He had to walk with the physio all the way down to the behind the North Bank and around the pitch, right? The amount of fucking shit I heard that kid get, right? He was 21 at the time, right? The stadium was dead. He heard every single word that was shouted at him. He was looking straight at the people saying it. Yeah, I won't repeat what was said because I'll get nicked for it, mate. Yeah, it's fucking disgusting, right? And then people have got the cheek to then fucking sit there and fucking coat off other people for not. This kid's come through our youth setup, right? He's been here for what, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it is, yeah? Maybe even longer, 14 years, whatever it is, right? He is an Arsenal boy. He gets what it takes to be at Arsenal, yeah? He's grown up, right? He's seen the likes of Jack Wilshere come and go, right? Jack Wilshere gets it, right? And our fan base, and it's not just Arsenal fans that do this, every fan base do it, right? Jeff Rene Adelaide does some little bit of fucking skill in a fucking pre-season game. Our fans start knocking one out, making vines over it and going, oh, he's the next fucking Messi. Yeah? The kid's playing in France now, some shit club, right? Alex Iwobi signed a new deal at Arsenal and still playing Premier League football for a top team in Europe, yeah? Why don't we fucking back the kid? Because all you're going to do is end up fucking ruining this kid's career, right? Because, like I said, I think it was Burnley. You gradually see him get worse and worse because the fans were on his case as soon as he gave the ball away, right? But then other players that haven't come through our youth setup, that are their favourites, the Ramseys, the Ozils, the Aubameyangs, who, by the way, Aubameyang's worse off the ball than Ozil. Yeah, he don't do nothing off the ball. So I'd rather have Iwobi on the left wing than have Aubameyang on the left wing because at least Iwobi will track back and not expose fucking Kolasinac or fucking Nacho Monreal. He'll actually do what's required in the Premier League to try and be the best. Whereas Aubameyang, if he ain't got the ball 6 yards out, he's pretty anonymous, mate. Yeah, he can't hold the ball up, etc., right? The last thing I'll say on Iwobi, when we played you at Old Trafford, Eric Bailly played that day, yeah? Right? Do you remember when Iwobi went clean through? Well, I say clean through. Bailly was tracking him, and they were shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, and right. Go and rewatch that. Yeah, and I've seen this umpteen times this season. The only other person I've seen run at full pelt with the upper body strength to hold a big burly centre back off the ball and still get their shot away is Ibrahimovic. Yeah? And Alex Iwobi has got all the technique. He's got all the skill. He just needs the composure in front of goal or to pick the right pass. And that can be coached. He's got everything to make it in the league, right? But people compare him to Sane, for example, yeah? Leroy Sané is the same age, but Leroy Sané is playing in a fucking amazing team. So it don't matter if he misses
it's as
the
if
chance.
you're looking at the chat room, by the way, because that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
What about Sané?
Yeah, Leroy Sané, if he misses 2 shots or squares the pass the wrong way for Man City, it don't matter because they'll create another 15 chances. When we're away to West Ham and Alex Iwobi scuffs one wide, yeah, if that was Sane, he would have scored. Fact. Yeah? Fact. That's not disregarding Alex Iwobi, right? Yeah. But at the same time, give the kid a break, man. He's still learning his trade. He's been overplayed. He's never had a loan move. And yes, he's not as good as Sane. But that's why Man City paid £40 million for fucking Leroy Sané, right? We're not Man City. He's not Leroy Sané. He's one of our own, yeah? He's Alex Iwobi. And this is what I was saying about Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson will walk straight back into Arsenal next season, and every fan in the fucking club will be knocking one out, whether he misplaces a pass or not. And it's double standards, yeah? If your face fits, you get a pass, right? If your face don't fit, doesn't matter whether you do good shit or not. You're always going to get criticised.
Lee, the thing is, right, the previous manager that you had, the back end of his tenure at the club, he wasn't focused much on player development. Now you have a manager that is a head coach that is focused on nurturing players and bringing them through, as you've seen already with some of the players that he's selected recently, especially in the Europa League. And I just think people like Iwobi and all these other youngsters that you got coming through, they obviously need time. But we're in a generation where you don't have that time anymore. I mean, you must obviously, going back to United, I hate to do this because obviously it's deviating from Arsenal, but
it's cool, man.
When we were bringing through the likes of Scholes and the Nevilles and all these other players, granted we caught lightning in a bottle at that period of time. All these players coming through at the same time, it's unheard of. A couple from like Ajax or whatever, but we gave them the opportunity, and I think because we're old school in the way that we think, you and I, we're prepared to give the youngsters a chance. I know I've slated Marcus Rashford in the past, but I've slated his mentality, never his ability. And I think, it's always been a United and Arsenal thing and a Spurs thing and a Liverpool thing that when a youngster comes through the ranks, you're prepared to give them that extra time because they've been at the club from when they were kids. They know what the club's DNA is all about.
And to actually make it into a first team from being 8 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's some journey, man.
Exactly. So, they need to be given time. But unfortunately, we live in a FIFA 19 generation where, you want to bring in the next player from France because he's a player that's got potential to be one of the best on the game. It's just... But that's the way that the game goes, man. That's the way it is.
And just to kind of end this Iwobi thing, because I can see there's 2 people in the chat room, Environmental Hoax and Karim, who were all over Lee's nuts because he kept saying that to give Iwobi time. If neither of you motherfuckers can see that Iwobi has at least improved, then we need to stop talking about. You can exit the chat room because
like I said, there's only one person's opinion that matters, and that's Unai Emery's. And there's a reason Alex Iwobi keeps playing games because he's doing what's required in training and doing what he's told to do on the pitch. Whether he scores or not is irrelevant. Yeah, our manager rates Alex Iwobi, so let's deal with it. It's Arsenal Football Club, not certain players' football club.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, right. So let's move on to the hopeful 11s that are going to be playing on Friday. Now, Lee, I know you're doing your preview, so I'm not going to ask you necessarily.
I know I'm cutting you off again. Rather than doing a hopeful 11, why don't we do a Tim Sherwood and pick,
no. Yeah, well, we could do a combined 11.
Because obviously that's going to ruin my preview for tomorrow if I give you a hopeful 1 to 11, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to do my one, motherfucker. All right, we'll leave the for 11.
So why don't we do a combined 1 to 11?
Do we do this before the league game?
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
We did before the league game because I was just sitting there thinking, who the fuck apart from Pogba and De Gea?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I actually think we did. That might change that.
It'd be interesting to get your opinion now. So I think it's still worthwhile. Let's do it.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement that De Gea is the goalkeeper.
Damn, Skippy. There ain't no way. Leno, he's getting into that too. So yeah, De Gea in goal. Are we going with available players or ideal players?
Just go with anyone who's fit, innit? Just go, because obviously Bellerin ain't getting in, is he? Because he's unfit.
Yeah. So right back wise, who are we going with? That's why I asked.
Valencia.
Flip a coin. Well, Ashley Young. I think Ashley Young.
Ashley Young, yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Well, he's better than
don't look so smug, mate. We don't have any right backs apart from.
We got Lichtsteiner, mate, and Jenkinson. Come on, turn it in.
I actually have Ashley. I know my mate who supports United, Kenzo. Shout out to him if he's watching. Will go mad at me saying Ashley Young, but fuck it.
See, this is the thing, right? A lot of people laugh about Ashley Young, but Ashley Young is a 7 or 8 out of 10 player for us, right? And people would disagree with that, but yeah, you don't. Okay, I was about to say you're not at United for 10 years if you're half decent, but then that kind of says that Chris Smalling's decent and he's dog shit. Throws that one out the window. No, with Ashley Young, he comes in, he puts in a performance, he gives it his best, and that's what you expect. Effort is, 100% effort is the minimum expectation for most players. But the thing is, he comes in, he doesn't complain, he plays at right back, he plays at left back, he plays in an attacking position.
He's happy to be there, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, listen, if you're 34 years old, earning 120 grand a week, wouldn't you be happy?
Yeah, true. I am 34, so I definitely would be.
I'm 36 and I ain't earning that much.
My point is that he's been one of our most consistent players. He hasn't been the player to go behind the manager's back. He gets on with it. He's a consummate pro, and that's he represents United in terms of his ethical and moral standpoint. Granted, he's not a world class player, and he isn't this right back that everyone is, this Cafu that people expect. But he does a job. So I don't know what people want. Anyway, whatever.
So yeah, Ashley Young.
So Ashley Young, right there. I'm gonna pitch something to you guys now. Socrates and Lindelof are the centre backs. I want to hear no shit.
Or you could go with Phil Jones and the Greek Phil Jones.
Fuck that.
The Greek Phil Jones. I've heard it all that. Come on, man.
Listen, I've been watching Papastadopoulos for a long time, and I can say his surname because
fucking hell, you can actually say it.
I'm one of his people, aren't I?
You're one of the people, yeah, I know. You
one
and
of the
Harry
people, them, yeah.
People I know that can actually say the name properly, and you say it equally as fast.
Papadopoulos. See, I know, I can say it as well.
Roll it. Roll it.
Papadopoulos. Yeah, there we go.
You're close.
Do you say it properly, so?
Almost.
Bitch, you thought you were bad.
It's all right.
I'm not having Lindelof, man. No chance. Bay is better than it. Eric Bay is better than him.
No. See, this is
he's improved, sir. He's improved.
This is where we're going to disagree because Eric Bailly had an outstanding first season for us. Don't get me wrong, but that injury that he got at the back end of the season when I think it was against Anderlecht in the Europa League. I think it may have been Anderlecht. He hasn't recovered from it, and you can tell this is a player devoid of confidence and. He makes a lot of silly decisions, and I think that the sending off he got against Bournemouth kind of sums him up in the sense that yes, he's wholehearted. He loves to get stuck in, but you're making challenges, nonsensical challenges that you don't need to make. You're 3-1 up. Why are you making
Mustafi then?
Well, there you go. Well, apparently, according to someone from the Sun, Mustafi was going to be the next Nemanja Vidic. I remember that tweet.
No.
Right, okay, we'll go with Socrates and Lindelof then. You bullies. Pair of bullies.
We ain't completely happy with that, but fuck it. We're going to agree. Left back, are we agreed with Monreal?
If we're playing a 4, yeah.
Well, you don't want to play a 4?
No, play a 4. I prefer a 4.
Yeah, I prefer a 4.
And if it is a 4, then all day long. What you said about Ashley Young can be said about Monreal. Consistency. Yeah, 7.5 every game.
Always a 7, 8 out of 10. Always. Yeah. I'm with you. Monreal, you happy with that, Stel?
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say the Bosnian, but you know.
No, he can't defend, mate. He's all right. That's why I said 4 or a 5. He's in a 5. He's decent. In a 4, the geezer's a fucking liability.
Complete liability. Although he did play well against Chelsea, to be fair. He did.
So are we going 4-4-2?
A good question. Shall we?
Yeah. What are you saying, Stel?
He reminds me of Valencia because he just runs up and down in the line and hits the ball across the face of the goal. That's all he does, just smashes it. He's got no.
Pretty much. That's in a nutshell.
You can't
get to the byline and cross it.
Don't call him the tank. Call him the alligator or something. You know, he moves up and down.
Who are the central midfielders?
Torreira all day long is getting in that team.
Of course.
Do you know what? Based on our current form, I think Herrera should be in there, man. I think he's been outstanding under Solskjaer. I think he's come on leaps and bounds, and this is a player who's playing for a new contract.
Jack ain't getting in the team. That's what Jack.
You know,
to be honest, I've seen the highlights of United's games, and yeah, Herrera's done all right, man. But this is what happens, right? When a player knows he ain't good enough to play for a club of that size, they all of a sudden start putting a shift in. Yeah, when their contract's running out, innit? Yeah. So it's like, oh fuck, I'm undroppable now, right? I'll keep playing well. I'll get my contract, and I'll just fucking chill again, right? So that's what he's doing. You watch, as soon as he signs that deal, he'll disappear again. Yeah, they're clever, man. These footballers are clever. I'm telling you. People say they're thick. They're not thick.
The thing is,
I will say.
What I like most about this born again Herrera is that he seems a bit more tactically responsible now. I'm not saying that he's a born leader or anything, but you see him handing out instructions throughout the game, talking at set pieces, and being that guy in the middle of the park with that fake captain's armband, so to speak, or the invisible captain's armband. And that's what you need. I mean, granted, we've had some great midfielders like your Paul Inces, your Roy Keanes and whatnot, and they've always been talkers and organisers. And while Ander Herrera isn't anywhere near them by far,
he's trying.
He's trying, and this is what you need. And he's performing. We saw him do a really good job in Dele Alli against Spurs a couple of weeks back. He's had some really good games in tough places like Newcastle, for example. It's not an easy place to go to, especially when you've got 5 men in midfield. And he was very tenacious, winning the ball, passing it at the right time, and it's enabled Matic to get a bit further forward as well. So yeah, I'd put Herrera in there, to be fair.
Cool, I'm happy with that.
We agreed the 2 superstars are left out then. Your superstar and our superstars.
Who? Pogba?
Yeah.
If
we're going 4-4-2.
Are you going 4-4-2? Okay,
yeah.
4-4-2 diamond.
Very quick.
See, what are we going to do? What are we going to do right now?
Right, okay, so Torreira's at the peak, the bottom of the diamond.
Herrera.
Yeah, Herrera's on the what? Left or right?
Yeah, whichever one.
Okay, so then what? Pogba?
And Guendouzi.
No, I don't know about Guendouzi, man.
Guendouzi.
I do rate him. I do rate him. But
I think he's a quality player.
So Pogba goes at the tip of the diamond.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pogba at the tip.
Who would you put?
Right, hang on. We've got Torreira at the bottom.
Torreira at the bottom.
Herrera
on the left.
On the left. We've got Pogba at the peak at the top. I'd go Ramsey. Yeah, I'd go Ramsey.
Ramsey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On his current form? Yeah. Ramsey.
And the reason I'd go Ramsey is because I've mugged him off for crossing halfway and not wanting to come back, but he has been doing that. He has been coming back. And listen, I love Guendouzi, but if we're doing a combined 11, Ramsey over Guendouzi. Ramsey over Guendouzi.
Agreed. Okay.
Strikers. This is where we got meat on the bone now, bruv.
See, if you'd asked Stel this question beforehand, maybe a few months ago, he would have gone with our strikers. I'm not so sure that will be the case now.
No,
but I'm still going with our fucking strikers. I'm going with Aubameyang.
I'm not going with both.
Oh wow!
I think it's, to be fair, with the form that Rashford's in, you can't discount him. Exactly. He scored Four league goals on the bounce. He's in the
And considering you
well.
weren't that convinced a few weeks ago.
No, I wasn't. But to be fair, I wasn't convinced with a lot of players, Cheek. You know, and you know me. I'll tell it like it is. And a lot of players weren't pulling their weight, and we've seen the difference.
Yeah. And to be fair, this form has shown that they weren't. They weren't.
Well, there you go. But the thing is, what a lot of people failed to take into consideration is that Solskjaer was actually our reserve coach years ago, and he had Lingard and Pogba there, so he knew what they were capable of. So he's kind of replicating what he was doing at reserve level, youth level. But Rashford, I told you before, I questioned his mentality. I've never questioned his ability. I've questioned his mentality, his finishing that goes. There was times where he was the centre forward at the time, and he's standing on the edge of the box and the ball's crossed in. You're thinking, where are you, mate?
Where's your run?
Standing there? Yeah, but again, you can say that it was coached out of him. You can
confidence
say that,
as well, man.
Yeah, of course. And we've seen great strikers. I remember Ian Wright went through a barren spell where he wasn't scoring, but the moment he put that ball in the back of the net, that was it. It was no stopping him. Henry struggled at Arsenal when he first signed, and then he started getting on the score sheet. And people like to shoot players down, and he hasn't performed to the best of his abilities, and that's true. But at the same time, you still got to give them time, and that's what I said about Iwobi. It's the same goes with Rashford.
Yeah.
Rashford's how old's Rashford? 21.
Rashford is still young, isn't he?
21.
21 years old, man. He's playing for Man United, and he scored 4 on the bounce. Yeah, I'd be quite happy.
Yeah.
So Lee, I'm guessing your two strikers are Rashford and Laka.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Aubameyang don't get in.
I will say this, and Archie made this point in the chat room. You're leaving out one of the top scorers in the league.
Yeah, do you know why I'm leaving that out?
I agree with you.
And I know he put an absolute masterclass in defensively against Chelsea. Yeah, my actual Twitter picture, my avatar, is Eden Hazard laying face down on the penalty box. Yeah. Our penalty box with Aubameyang running off with the ball. Yeah, right. But that's the first time I've seen him actually put a shift in like that this season off the ball. Right. But after the West Ham debacle the other day, he couldn't have got any fucking worse. He was shocking at West Ham. Lacazette is a big game player. He scored against Atletico. He scored against Man City. He scored against United. Yeah, even though it got took off him. Yeah, he scored against Liverpool. That goal, I was right behind that goal. As soon as he hit it, I knew it was in. Yeah, he scored big goals, right, when it matters. But not only that, the one thing I'll say about him from the get-go, he is 100% committed going back the opposite way. The amount of times he runs past our midfielders to get the ball back, and that's why I get the ump when people go, "Oh, it's not his job to defend." Yeah, well, Lacazette's doing it, so why the fuck ain't
it not his job?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? His job to make the goals, and he's got that moment of, like we've said before, right? Lacazette is the more rounded footballer.
I've always said that.
Yeah, and is the better finisher. Aubameyang, like I said earlier, off the ball he's anonymous normally. His movement going forward off the ball is fucking phenomenal, right? But it's when we haven't got the ball and he just don't do nothing. Yeah. So Rashford, listen, say what you want about Rashford. He's a kid. He's playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he is actually doing it right now. His goal against Tottenham was unreal, right? Yeah. Unbelievable goal. What a finish. And Rashford of 2 months ago would have scuffed that wide.
I could change my mind. I agree with you guys.
So I'd go with. I think although I like Aubameyang and Lacazette as a partnership, if we had them two up front, Rashford and Lacazette, I think that would be even better. And that's taking nothing away from Aubameyang, because listen, I rate Aubameyang. I love him to bits.
Well, we're picking on formally, aren't we? So.
Well, exactly. And Aubameyang ain't scored against Chelsea the other day. He didn't play against Blackpool, obviously, but. Rashford scored 4 in the last 4 games or 3 games, whatever it is. He scored against Tottenham. That was a great goal. His goal against Brighton at the weekend was fucking, mate, how he got that ball through that gap. It was literally a ball's gap to get the ball through, and he got it through. Yeah, and man, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that selection.
I think you're right. And I've always said
the bench will be sick.
For me, for Aubameyang to turn on, he needs Lacazette. Yeah. Whereas Lacazette does not need Aubameyang. And I think, even though I completely agree with you at the weekend, I thought it was a disgrace that the manager was getting booed when Lacazette was pulled off. But I also think That's why people are frustrated. Because I think people are starting to realize that. People are starting to realize that.
Yeah, but you don't boo a substitution.
Oh no,
do not boo a sub.
I said that in my review. I 100% agree with you.
Especially when you're singing fucking Olivier Giroud as he's coming on. It's like you're booing your man going off and you're singing for their man to come on. Fucking do that at the end, man.
To me, I thought it was worse that we were winning the game.
Yeah.
Imagine if he left both of them on and then they fucking came back.
Yeah. Do you know what, right? I'll just quickly say. I'll just quickly say, right? The reason Aubameyang gets left on over Lacazette is because 9 times out of 10, we're winning a game, right? And we're still trying to score goals, but they're going forward a lot more and they're pressing us back and causing us problems, right? The same with Burnley. Yeah, they were still pressing. The same with Chelsea at the weekend. Yes, we're 2-0 up. It's comfortable, but we didn't really do a great deal second half, and they were pressing us and camping us back, yeah? And it was just wave after wave coming forward without any real quality. So the reason Aubameyang stays on is because when you're being pressed back, that's counter-attack. Right? So to take Lacazette off, to bring Iwobi on, who's fresh, a lot quicker than Lacazette, that's now 2 outlets. So you can whip it left or right wing, yeah? So your defenders know that as soon as you get the ball, bang, Iwobi and Aubameyang are on the turn, yeah? Lacazette's quick, but he ain't that quick. He ain't Aubameyang quick and he ain't Iwobi quick. Yes, he's quick, but after playing 75 minutes of high intensity, tracking back, Aubameyang, even at 25% full pelt, yeah, is still going to be quicker than Lacazette at 100%. So I get why he brings him off, yeah? I get it totally. But our fans are just little snowflakes, man. It's like a lot of them can't get over the fact that the last manager got potted. So it's just any excuse to have a dig out at the new manager. Mate, I hear it. I'm in the ground. I hear people talking. Yeah? I hear people talking. Oh, fucking hell. The last manager wouldn't have took him off. Yeah, the last manager would have took him off and he would have took him off at 65 minutes.
The last manager hardly played him in the first few
Exactly.
months.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Or, you just hear shit in the ground. I'd stand there biting my tongue thinking, I ain't going to row you because I stand here every week, yeah? Right? But you hear shit, you just think, mate, you're so clueless. It's like when people were singing Olivier Giroud to come onto the pitch just after they booed Lacazette. It was like, hang on. When they read the team sheets out in the ground, I clapped when Giroud was read out. Yeah, because I respect that he scored 100 goals for Arsenal, for over 100 goals, and he weren't the greatest footballer. And he's come up from fuck all to play for Arsenal, right, and score 100 goals. At the end of the game, he went to all 4 sides of the pitch and he was patting his chest and fucking giving it all out because he never had a send-off, right? And I stood there for over a minute clapping the geezer.
Yeah, because he deserves that.
Yeah,
and I've given Giroud his fucking
name. Yeah, so have I. Right,
but he
16 games without scoring a goal cost us a fucking title.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right, but at the same time, to sing his name when he's running onto the pitch to try and score against you is a fucking disgrace. Not only that, people go, "Oh yeah, but it's not his fault. He went to Chelsea. He was forced out." Hang on. He could have signed for Everton, he rejected him. He could have signed for West Ham, he rejected him. He could have signed for Borussia Dortmund as a straight swap for Aubameyang, rejected him. He could have signed for Marseille, rejected him. He signed for fucking Chelsea. Chelsea. Yeah? But because he was forced out and he genuinely has some love towards the club, yeah, it's totally different. I put a tweet out the other day saying, because people were going, he scored over 100 goals and blah, blah, blah. I put a tweet out saying, on Friday night when Alexis Sanchez comes back, will we be hearing Alexis Sanchez baby song? Yeah, seeing as he's been involved in over 100 goals, scored in 2 cup finals, 2 cup semi-finals, scored a goal to qualify us for Champions League group stage, scored so many great goals. He equalised against Spurs with 10 men after Coquelin got sent off. No, of course we won't, because he's a fucking snake, isn't he? Yeah? And it's how a player leaves that is how the fans perceive it. And it's bullshit, man.
I found the Giroud thing so hilarious because I remember when Vieira came back for Juventus to play against Arsenal and he was booed.
Exactly. Fabregas fucking ruined him that night.
He was destroyed by the Arsenal fans. And this is a club legend. And this is the weird thing about it. I mean, we've seen so many United players come back in the past. Legends like your Andy Coles and all these other players. And yeah, we applaud them and yeah, we sing their name, but then that's it. That's it. You do it once and then that's it. But
exactly.
you know, Giroud isn't an Arsenal legend. He hasn't etched his name in the club's history. So for this love affair about him, it's bewildering. It really
Mate,
is.
our fans still tweet, oh, he's on loan at Chelsea. Fucking turn it in. Yeah, this is the same fan base that knocked one out over Lucas Podolski and fucking players like that.
I remember he went 9 games without a goal at one point.
16.
Well, yeah, I remember it was 9 games at the time.
Lee will never forgive him for that.
I remember him scoring against Norwich City, right? After people were on his case. I was at the game. People were on his case, right? Fucking getting right on him, right? All game, right? He then scored against Norwich City, run off giving it an ear to the fans. Yeah.
Lee, what about Bournemouth when he scored the goal in the last minute and instead of getting the ball to the halfway line to win the game?
Started doing the fucking scorpion fucking celebrate. Exactly. Loser mentality, mate. It is though, let's be real. Any other fucking player would have picked the ball up, run to the halfway and gone, right, we can win it now.
Sanchez did.
I agree.
And one thing I will say here, right? Listen, don't get me wrong. I will not be singing Alexis Sanchez Baby on fucking Friday night, yeah? Right? But the one thing I will say here, right? Yes, like I've seen people saying, oh yeah, but Giroud got 2 assists in 2 cup final winners, right? Yeah, that's cool. That's great. And he did play a part in both cup finals. And I'm fully grateful, which is why I clapped him, right? Alexis Sanchez is going to get fucking abused on Friday night, right? But let's be real. This geezer's one of the best players we've had at the Emirates. So I get why he's going to be abused because it's Man United. But at the same time, it's fucking Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. Fucking Chelsea, right? But this is the same fan base still, right? That sit there singing to Chelsea fans, you brought it all, and then all sit crying about Stan Kroenke. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're confused, mate. Make your minds up. What do you want?
Okay, so let's do the last thing really and do the kind of hopeful 11s or an 11 that you expect will start against Arsenal style. What do you think? What do you think? I forgot the name of your manager. What do you think Solskjaer will go with?
I think Solskjaer will take the competition serious. I know he made wholesale changes against Reading, but that's to be expected.
It would be great for his CV if he won this competition, though, wouldn't it?
Well, it'll be outstanding, and that's the fact is he's already staked his claim for the job permanently because of the way that we've been playing. I mean, I think if we avoid the hiding against PSG. I think he will get the job at the end of the season because I don't think the board, if they're still there, will want to fork out 20 to 30 million pounds to bring in Pochettino, who's won nothing. You know, you know, Solskjaer. And let's be honest, if we do bring in a new guy, is he going to have the same rapport with the players that Solskjaer has? Because he's going to bring in his own backroom staff. It's going to be Moyes all over again. So at this moment in time, I can't see anyone else coming in. But I think with the
would you be happy with that, by the way?
Absolutely, irrespective of what happens this season, because we've seen what the players are capable of under him.
How does that work with his actual employers, though, Mulder? Because he's currently on loan, isn't he?
Yeah, we would have to buy it out.
They'll just pay $7.5 million to buy out his contract, and that's it. Yeah. Which is substantially less than Pochettino.
Do you think he's going to get the job?
I think he will. If the Glazers are still in charge, then he'll definitely get the job because it's.
See, I don't think he's going to get it. I think Pochettino will get it.
Well, I don't know. I think put it this way: if you're going to deal with Spurs, they're going to deal with. It's going to be hardball, isn't it? It's
exactly. Levy will drive a hard ball.
Yeah, it is. But then you get in a good brand of football, I suppose. Listen, he might be their manager, but he plays decent football, right?
But we've got that.
And you've got better players than them. They're just playing better.
Yeah, but we've got that now, the league. That's the thing. I mean, listen, 7 wins on the bounce. I didn't think that we'd ever get to that. You know, I don't mean to have a dig at you guys, but we were 11 points behind you at one point. You know, and we've come back and won games, and winning games breeds confidence, and that's what we got at the moment. And I'm not getting giddy about it because I'm not one of these fans. I've seen how titles or how league runs can fall on its head. So I'm not getting excited about it. And
don't let it slip.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we haven't had a bad turn of form, and we don't know how the players are going to react if we do get a bad result. We might lose on Friday, and some players may ring it in again. But I don't think they'll do that with him because he's a club legend, so they've got no other option but to perform because the fans will turn. We've seen it with Van Gaal and Moyes and Mourinho. They weren't United guys, but this is a United guy. So if you shit on him,
and he's held in more a high fucking standard than fucking current crop, isn't it?
Don't forget, Ferguson has got his fingerprints all over that. He's got his fingerprints all over that. So, with Ferguson still around the club, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing either.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Fergie had a hand in Jose getting fired?
I don't think he had a hand in it because I think the writing was on the wall at the beginning of the season with Jose. When he was making those comments at pre-season saying, we haven't bought anyone and whatnot. I think the writing was on the wall then, to be fair. And you could tell that he was feeling the pressure because of the way that he was behaving in press conferences. And, while I'm gutted it didn't work out for him, at the end of the day, it wasn't to be. And we move on at the end of the day. Listen, replacing someone like Ferguson is a nigh on impossible task because how can you replace the guy that's been at the club for 26, 27 years and bring in someone to hit the ground running straight away? And that doesn't happen unless you're Juventus. And the less said about that, the better, I think. But listen, I'd love it if he got the job full time, but the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. We're only 7 games into his tenure, so we can't get too excited and say, oh yeah, we're going to win every game. But let's be fair, the run of games that we've got coming up with Leicester and Burnley and, we've got winnable games here, games that we should be winning. And if we can avoid suspensions and injuries, I don't see why we can't improve on that and even get into the top 4. But again, that's getting a bit too ahead of ourselves. So in terms of the lineup, going back to what you asked originally, Chick, I think he'll go De Gea in goal. If Shaw's fit, he'll come in the left back. Because I know he missed the game against Brighton for illness, but if he's fit, he'll play at left back. Centre backs will be Jones and Lindelof because we've got no one else. I know Bailly's back, but I don't think Solskjaer can trust him, to be fair. Right back will be Young, midfield Herrera, Matic, and Pogba. And up front it will be Martial, Lingard, and Rashford. And going back to Marcus Rashford, I feel sorry for the lad in terms of his England career because it's like Andy Cole. It's like the right player at the wrong time. Andy Cole was about when Alan Shearer was about. Now Rashford has got Harry Kane. And Harry Kane is the darling of English football, and there's nothing that he can do wrong. So if England play that one man up front, Rashford's going to miss out, isn't he? Or he's going to play wide, and he's not going to be as effective. And you look at Rashford and Harry Kane, it's very similar to Andy Cole and Shearer in the sense that Andy Cole won so many trophies, and Shearer only had one, whereas Rashford has won the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Europa League. And Harry Kane is still sitting on golden balls, from hitting the ball hitting his arse going in against Panama. So I don't know, but yeah, that's my team. I think if we, personally, I think if Solskjaer plays it right tactically, and I think having a big pitch really helps because if it was at Highbury, we struggle because we rely so much on our width and Pogba dropping deep. But because you got a wide pitch. Plus, you like your fullbacks bombing forward. I think we'll see the best out of Lingard and Martial, especially on that left-hand side.
Okay. For me, my 1 to 11 is very, very simple. I only made 2 changes to the squad against Chelsea, really.
You made Niles a right back?
So, of course, 3 then. 3 changes. Check in goal. I think rotate it. It's fine. Bar checks kicking. I trust him as a goalkeeper.
Even if we high press?
Yeah, because I don't see you guys doing that for long.
Oh, we will.
I don't see you doing. And plus, I think we're so used to playing out from the back now.
I hope they do. I hope they do press. I hope they do because then we just destroy them on the break.
Me too. I'd be confident if you guys do that. Yeah, agreed. Right back, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Mustafi, and Socrates in defence. I'm going to go with that. I was tempted to play Mavropanos, but I hear that Mavropanos might be nursing a small strain or something like that.
By the way, can I just interrupt? Arsenal fans, please don't call Mavropanos Mavro, okay? Because because I tell you why, because it's a derogatory term in Greek, calling. Yeah.
What do you call him?
Well, if you call a person a Mavro means black, but it's also what people use as a racial slur. So don't call him Mavro. So call him anything else.
I'll call him Panos then.
You call him that if you want
to. I actually used to know someone called Paniotis. Anyway,
Congratulations, you met 1 million gigs.
Fuck you.
It's like saying, I know an English guy with the surname.
I'm just saying, motherfucker, just saying. Right, left back, Monreal. Okay, now I'm asking questions. I'm gonna go with Ramsey, Torreira, and Guendouzi. So maybe 4 changes. Fuck Jacko. And then I'm gonna go with 3 up top. Iwobi, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. I say, apart from anything, even though Jacko didn't play that badly at the weekend, he was all right actually at the weekend, bar the first 10 minutes where he gave that horrible pass. I think rest him. Why not rest him and play the kid? So yeah, that would be my.
Why not dump him in the fucking reserves?
Yeah, that would be my ideal choice.
Or back to Albania.
That would be my team. So thanks you guys. And I'm going to confidently say 4-2. Come on,
I'm not going to give you my team because that'll be in my preview tomorrow. I'm on 2%.
Give me your score.
I have texted you about 1,000 times, Chig. I'm on fucking 2% battery.
Oh, are you? Sorry, brother.
But I think we'll win. I'll give you the score tomorrow.
Okay.
In my preview, I'll give you the score. Oh, by the way, listen, I'm going to have to chip, mate. I know I sound really rude doing this, yeah? But I'm literally on 1%. It's going to cut out any second.
Go on.
So thanks again for having me on. Thanks to all the people that are hating on me in the comments. I respect the fact that you still sat and watched. Yeah, that's cool. Right? It can't all be love. Still, hope we smash you up on Friday.
Well, you said that you were going to smash us up, and if you don't, then I should take the piss out of you. But I didn't take the piss out of you because
That's right. I'll just block you and mute you and everything, don't I? And then once it's calmed down, I'll unblock you and follow you again. Yeah. But,
you got to do the sunshine.
Thanks very much for having me on again. Listen, I've got to go, Chig. I'm literally about to conk.
Go on, do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
No, that's cool, man. Listen, I'm out of here, man.
Go on.
Nice one. I'll see you later. Thank you, lads.
See you, geezer.
And no problem. And Stel, let me get your score real quick.
2-1 United.
2-1 United. Okay, confident.
We won't keep a clean sheet. We
I don't think either team will. I think it'll be a hotly contested one. But yeah, fuck it. Let's
got more chance. Katie Price getting the designer vagina than United can keep a clean sheet. So
yeah, agreed. Oh, all right. That's it from us, people. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I know it was a long podcast. I'm not surprised Lee had to kick. But thank you, Stel, for joining me today.
Thank you for the invite, man. Appreciate it.
Let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Well, I'm on Twitter at @theonlystel. That's spelled ST3L. I'm not going to tell you why my previous account was suspended. Thank you, Phil, Chris Smalling. I told you this joke before. Anyway, you can follow my podcast at Shoot the Defense, and I have a Man United one called Viva Red Army. You can follow us on Twitter at Red Army Viva. I've actually been messaging Paul Parker, ex-United, and he's be coming on the show pretty soon. But that's pretty much it, really.
I can't wait for your rant when we beat you. I can't wait for your rant.
Listen, if you go back to the United Spurs one when we lost 3-0 at the beginning of the season, that was me prime Stel just.
Brother, I watched it. You know, the one I watched that I enjoyed the most was the sharp gear changes when you were in the car and you were just so pissed. I thought, are you driving right now? Where the camera was real low, and I was like, fucking hell, that is not fucking around. But do check out that channel because it will be an enjoyable watch when we win. Exactly. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. Crush that like button for me. The show always gets noticed better when you hit that like button. So drive them likes up, hit the subscribe button. This is what I do. I have guests on, and we just keep the show moving and vibrant. I'll be back maybe Friday night, but I have company Friday night, so maybe like the boys are coming over for a poker game. So I might do it during poker, you know. I'll be a little bit drunk, but fuck it. I might do it during poker where I just talk about the game. We'll either be really happy or really pissed. So it'll be an entertaining watch. Because if I'm pissed and drunk, it'll be an entertaining watch. So don't miss that shit.
The fucking red shirts.
And yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. I've joined the world of Instagram for some reason, so do follow me on Insta, Gunner_Eagle_I1, and you can follow me on there. And also, don't forget about the Patreon people. I'm gonna count them. I'm gonna put four videos on for my Patreon viewers only. So do go check that out. 2 of them are Arsenal related. 2 of them are film related. So go check that out. Also, a big shout out to Ola because I know he's in the chat room. We also did a UFC breakdown. I know that me and Ola have got a couple of things in the pipeline that we're also going to put straight on the Patreon. So $5 a month, people. I know payday's coming, motherfuckers. So $5 a month. You'll be able to check all that out. And no doubt me and Lee are also going to hook up for our Q&A. Lee's also got a Patreon. Lee Gunner, Patreon. And also, if you don't know by now, follow Lee on Twitter at LeeGunner82. All of the links of all of us will be in the description below in about 5 minutes' time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my rabbiting done. It's all the plugs done. We're out of here, people. Take care. Peace.